Hey, what's going on, guys? Hope you're doing well. Welcome back to part 3 of Improving Game of Thrones Season 8. Now remember, we're not totally trying to fix this mess, just improve it. Today we're going to go over some changes that I would make to Episode 5. Now, there's a lot of things in this episode that need fixing, just like the previous episodes, but there's a couple things we're going to have to just kind of ignore because it'd be a little too complicated to fix, such as the capture of Varys and his execution, the fact that Tyrion would probably not rat him out, at least not in the way that he did. Jon's reluctance to make sweet love to Dany is also rather confusing given the dialogue that his character has, in which he's constantly saying, "You're my queen and I love you," and all that good stuff. So we're just gonna have to look past those things for now. Alright, on to change number 1, the scene where Tyrion is talking with Jaime. So, in my opinion, this was probably the best scene, arguably, out of the whole episode. The only small nitpick that I have with it is some small dialogue from Jaime where he says that he never cared about the people of King's Landing. I mean, his whole character arc kind of says otherwise. I mean, sure, that's probably something he would say a couple seasons ago, but after coming all this way with all his actions, it just doesn't seem fitting. Otherwise, totally great scene. Change number 2, rather than having Dany and Drogon single-handedly wipe out the entire Iron Fleet, it would have seemed a little bit more believable if perhaps she had some help from some allied ships that would have sailed in, allowing some of the enemy focus to be taken off of her. Change number 3, the Dothraki still being alive. Let's be real here, as displayed in episode 3, 99% of the Dothraki were killed by the Army of the Dead. Unless they can just magically respawn, they shouldn't be there. Seeing as the Golden Company was wiped out by Drogon, it's not even necessary to force the Dothraki to even be in that scenario anyway. The remaining Northern forces and Unsullied could have just as easily dealt with the few remaining Golden Company soldiers. Change number 4, the big one, perhaps the most idiotic thing about all of Season 8. There is no plausible reason for Dany to just decide on a whim that she's gonna burn innocent women and children, especially after the battle has clearly been won. You can't convince me of this no matter how hard you try. At least, not with the amount of episodes that we were provided for her character to change so drastically. The only way I can see salvaging this moronic decision is to have a Scorpion Ballista on top of the Red Keep. Imagine this, that Dany and Drogon are sitting there, listening to the bells ring, clearly seeing that the battle is over. Just as a sigh of relief is about to wash over her, a scorpion arrow flies past her head, almost striking Drogon. There was no way in hell that Cersei was going to go down without using every last-ditch effort she had available to her. This then turns Dany's attention to the Red Keep. She then becomes angry and flies to the Red Keep, proceeding to burn it to the ground. All the while, innocent civilians that still remained in the Red Keep were burned alive. The civilians in the immediate surrounding area were also crushed to death by the collapse of the keep. Now, I suppose you could also make the case that she then gets the bloodlust and then proceeds to burn the rest of the city, perhaps even out of fear that there might be more scorpions somewhere that she doesn't know about. I personally wouldn't go that far, as the casualties from the Red Keep would already be quite enormous, but even that would still make far more sense than what we got in the episode. On to number 5, the fight between Euron and Jaime. Come on! This was so unnatural and cringy, as if Euron just happens to swim up on shore in the exact spot at the exact time that Jaime's there. Not to mention the cringy lines of dialogue where Euron exclaims to the camera that he's the man who killed Jaime Lannister. It's like, dude, you didn't even see him die, and no one would know anyway. Come on. Alright, on to number 6, Jaime and Cersei's death. Now, as touching as this was, it just didn't really match up with either of their characters. I would have wrote it so that Jaime went there to kill her, only to go back on that decision after seeing her crying alone as the tower collapses around them. Jaime then decides to lead them through the secret tunnels to the boat that Tyrion had stashed for him. But as they approach the tunnel, Cersei looks at Jaime, regains some of her composure, and with a sense of revenge and bitter anger, remarks how if she can't have the city, then no one can. Jaime distraughtly looks to her and says that they must hurry and go, but Cersei pulls away and tells him of the stashes of wildfire below the city and how she's not going to leave until she's sure it's all going to burn. Cersei then starts to rush away from Jaime towards a different tunnel. Jaime looks at the escape tunnel for a moment, pondering whether or not he should leave her to die, possibly killing many others and escape by himself. But he realizes that he can't give her the chance to kill anyone else, and if anyone's going to kill the woman he's loved for so many years, it's gonna be him. He grabs her arm, pulls her back around to him, and stabs her right in the chest. As she lay there dying in his arms, the entrance to the tunnel leading to the boat collapses, and it's clear that his decision to kill her has now killed him as well as the rest of the room begins to collapse. This could also be kind of really interesting foreshadowing for Jon killing Dany in the next episode. Alright, change number 7, the final one, the slow motion scene with Arya and that damn horse. Seriously, why did we need this painfully slow and ridiculous scene with some random ass horse that somehow survived? Seriously, it just magically disappears in the next episode anyway. Just like the Bronn scene, just scrap that crap, and the whole episode would be better off for it. Anyway, guys, those are the changes that I'd make to episode 5. Hope you guys enjoyed, and as always, feel free to leave your opinions down in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one.